Hey Tackle Warehouse fans, Jake here with another how-to video. Today we're going to talk about how to choose fishing line for beginning anglers. If you go onto our website, it's a very daunting task to go through and filter through all the different types of fishing line and know which one to select. So today we're going to talk about some of the pros and cons and some of the attributes of the different types of fishing line so that you can make a better informed purchase. So the first one we're going to start off with is your monofilament line. So monofilament was the dominant fishing line in the industry for many, many years, but has recently taken a more backseat to your fluorocarbon and braided fishing lines. So monofilament, as the name implies, it's a single strand of nylon. And what's great about monofilament, it's super inexpensive. So if you're learning how to cast, especially with a bait caster, it's probably the line you want to gravitate towards, because if you backlash a reel and just completely bird's nest one, it's not going to cost you a bunch of money having to cut all that line out and wasting it. But other great things about monofilament floats, so it's another great option for top water. It's easier to cast, it is easier to tie knots with. It is a softer material. So that little bit softer material just makes it more forgiving when you're trying to cast and tie knots with it. And like I said, it is more cost effective than fluorocarbon. It's great to learn with. And there is some shock absorbency with it. So monofilament does have quite a bit of stretch in it. So there's certain techniques that some people opt for monofilament, as you can get into big swim bait fishing or reaction baits like crankbaits. Some anglers prefer that little bit of extra stretch and that shock absorbency in with monofilament, but that can also be a little bit of a con with monofilament. So since it does have that stretch, it's gonna have less sensitivity. You're not gonna be able to feel those bites as well. And monofilament typically has a little bit less abrasion resistance. So if you're fishing over rocks and logs and dock pilings, things of that nature, the monofilament is not gonna hold up as well as some of the other styles of line out there on the market. The next one, the most popular line that's out there, is your fluorocarbon. Two of our most popular, the Seaguar and VizX, Sunline, Sniper, great, phenomenal options. So fluorocarbon is a much denser material compared to monofilament. And since it is denser, it also sinks. So you do get a lot more direct line with your bait with a fluorocarbon line. Fluorocarbon is also known for its invisibility factor. It has a really close light refraction, very close to water, so it is nearly invisible in the water. It is a little bit more sensitive than monofilament. It does have quite a bit less stretch than mono. So it does have some stretch in it, but it is significantly less than most monos on the market, so it is more sensitive, and it does have better abrasion resistance than most monofilaments. With fluorocarbons though, you're looking at a little bit increased cost, especially for some of the more premium fluorocarbons. They can go, upwards of $50 for a 200-yard spool, so it is more expensive, and it is a little bit stiffer of a material. So if you're beginning and just trying to learn how to cast, it is a little bit harder to manage, especially on a bait casting reel. It is a little bit more difficult to cast than your softer, more lint monofilament lines. The next kind of line that we're going to talk about, next type, is going to be your braided line. Braided line is awesome. As the name implies, with the braided line, it is a series of fibers that are tightly woven together in a super, super thin diameter line. And that is another thing that's great about braided line. It is crazy thin. So, I mean, this little strand right here, you're gonna get this is a 50-pound braided line, and it's equivalent to about a 10-pound monofilament line. So super, super thin, incredibly high strength line. It's gonna be great for flipping into heavy cover, punching through mats, frogging. It also floats as well, so it also makes it a great option for top water. But you can also use it, it's also a great option for spinning rods. So you can get it in different colors. So you can get it in green, you can get it in yellow, white, tons of different colors. But it does make it also a great option for spinning rods, because you can get such a thin diameter line. You can run a 10 to 20 pound braided line, and it's only gonna have the same diameter as about a 2 or 4 pound monofilament line. So it does lend itself really well towards spinning rods. So with this thin, woven material, it has nearly no stretch in it as well. So it is incredibly sensitive. So with that lack of stretch in the line, it's much more sensitive than your fluorocarbons or your monofilament types of line. And it doesn't really have any memory in it. So you can keep this stuff on your reel for a long, long time, and it's not gonna get coiled up and get a ton of memory in it like you would with a mono or fluoro. It is also highly durable. so you can run this stuff over lots of different types of environments, and it doesn't get torn up as much and get nicked up as much as your nylons or fluorocarbon materials. It is also a little bit more expensive, so that is kind of one of the downsides of your braided line. It is more expensive, but it's also gonna last you a lot longer. It's also not the best option for most clear water situations. If you're tying directly to your bait, you're not gonna wanna use this in super clear environments when you have that braided line tied right down to your bait. There's so many different varieties of braided line. You can get them they're in different carrier counts. So anywhere from a 4 strand, I believe, all the way up to a 15 or 16 strand. So the amount of fibers that are actually woven together to give it different characteristics. The last one that we're going to talk about is your copolymer lines. So kind of a unique category of line. Not all copolymers are the same. You have some copolymers that are a mix of 2 different nylons. You have some that are a mix of nylon and fluorocarbon coated. So there's all these different combinations of line within the copolymer category. And most of the time, they're trying to pull attributes from multiple line styles into one, but still give you a great price point that is usually a little bit cheaper than pure fluorocarbon. So depending on the makeup of what they're blending together in different copolymers, you can achieve different attributes. But again, also going to be a much cheaper option than most premium fluorocarbons on the market. Hope this helps. Hope this helps the anglers out there make a decision on what type of line to choose and what to go with, especially for beginning anglers. I know there's tons and tons of options out there, and we want to kind of steer everyone in the right direction to make sure you're getting the right line for the right application. If you enjoyed this how-to video, make sure to hit the like button. If you want to see more videos just like this, you can head on over to the Learning Center at tacklewarehouse.com.